All right, good morning, everybody. I don't know if we're live or not. This is take 2 of week 3's December video. We're going to come up here and just see if maybe it's working or not. Now, last time I did it, I thought it was good, and then the video looked great, but boy, we had zero audio. Okay, that looks okay. Let's go with that. You're going to get a super polished version of the video now because I've already run through everything once. Let's do it again, shall we? It was so much fun the first time. It is week 3 of December, which means everybody has class this week. So that's what, let's go here. There we go. Everybody has class this week. This is a normal week. If you are in a creative explorations class, oh, see, now my plant light went on. That's what happens when timing doesn't work on Monday mornings. Oh my goodness. Don't look behind the curtain. There. You turn the plant light off. The grow light. It can turn on when we're done with the video. All right. That's okay. We got this. It's Monday. All right. Everyone has class this week. If you're in creative explorations, toddler art and play, or preschool fundamentals, today, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday is the last class of your entire semester. All right. So that means that if you're not signed up for the next semester, this is like the last class. We don't know when we'll see you again. Hopefully we see you soon. Okay. If you're in a drawing class or a multimedia class, you still have one more class after this. So there's no classes next week, which is the 22nd through the 26th. And then hopefully we see you for some art and PJs and hot cocoa open studios. Okay. The following week. Talk about more of that in housekeeping. All right. Preschool fundamentals. Again, last class this week, we're going to be reading The Snowy Day by Jack Ezra Keats. We're going to make some snow paint out of shaving cream, and we're going to add that snow paint to our composition that we've been working on, that watercolor mixed media composition. We'll send that home with you. We're also going to be making some fun little keepsake ornaments so the kids will get to fill it with all sorts of treasures. Hopefully we see you in January. K3rd is doing watercolors. I brought some stuff to show you. This is Miss Lily's class in Liberty. Remember, in week 1, we're painting, or we're playing with the media, we're looking at inspiration, we're introducing the project. In week 2, we're starting the project, which is what we did last week. So I'm going to show you theirs. And in week 3, this time, we're going to be finishing it up. So they're painting these adorable little donuts. We painted them all on separate sheets of paper. It makes the composition a little bit easier. It also keeps the paint from running because watercolors have a tendency to just kind of do whatever they want. So we got all these great donuts. I do love them. Let's do another pocket. All of these are one artist. We were donut making machines. Let's see if I can find some other fun ones. I love in watercolors that we can get different values on like one dip of the paint, right? Because depending on your water to pigment ratio, where you pick up your brush, how wet your brush is, how wet your paper is, you can get lights and darks and different things just in one swoop. Some of these are green, so we can't really show on green screen. That one's, here we go. All right. So good stuff happening. We'll take our donuts this week and we will collage them together into a composition. Our goal is to finish this week. Kids should take their artwork. For our 4th and 5th in our homeschool classes, we've been making compositions of holiday baubles. We've been doing wet on wet, meaning we get an area of the paper wet, and then we drop loaded pigment into those and watch the pigment move and blend. So this was a really great example of dropping in and wet on wet. We have a lot of movement. We also have a lot of saturation in this one, which is harder to do because you're putting pigment into water, which is already going to dilute it and wash it out a little bit. So this one had some really great colors. Here's another interesting one. Now, the kids had to pick their compositions, right? So these are two very different pieces of art. They decided how many holiday baubles, how big the holiday baubles, what the shape was going to be, and then how they were going to be laid out. Here we have a vertical composition. Here we have a horizontal composition. There's one more. Let's see. That one has some green on it, so it doesn't work as well with the green screen, but you can see some of the shapes. Here's another one, a little bit more controlled. Okay, so in our week 3, to finish these guys up, we're going to be adding details with gel pens or microns, as well as metallic markers, and then we'll get out some glitter and glitter those things up. Again, artists should finish this week. That's the goal. When I get to the end of the multimedia section, we'll talk about what to do if your artist doesn't finish. All right, in our 6th, 7th, and 8th, 12th, we are painting some seascapes from photo reference. You can see here is the photo references out on the table. This is Miss Kylie's class. Great. And we're building up different layers of glazes in order to add depth to our picture. Here's another great example. We're really proud of our artist watercolors. Tricky. And here's one more. Okay. So for a lot of our kiddos, they're in kind of that middle stage where we have some of the darker points in, we have some of the details in, but not that final layer. So that's what they'll be doing this week, is just in watercolors, we work back to front, light to dark, vague to detailed. So right now we're in kind of the middle section where we're kind of dark, we're kind of detailed, we're kind of close to the viewer. We got to get all of it done so all the layers are in. We'll finish those up this week and get them matted and sent home. Now, if your kiddos don't finish in any of those classes, whether it's, K 3rd, 4th, 5th, homeschool, 6th, 7th, or 8th, 12th, if you don't finish, it could have been because you missed a class. It could have been because your kiddo started over. It could be because they were a slow starter. Maybe they spent a lot more time choosing their picture or drawing. Maybe it could, lots of reasons. Maybe they just work slower. Everybody does this, kind of works at a different pace. So if they don't finish, it's A-okay. If they're coming to the art and PJs and hot cocoa nights, we'll have the watercolor stations out and we will work with them to get it finished. If they are not able to come, if you're traveling that week or things are just crazy, you have family obligations, whatever the reason, if you're not coming, then you can sign up for a makeup anytime. If you want to do that this week, you can. If you want to do that in mid-January, that's fine. If you want to do it in February, okay? Even if you're not signed up for next semester, you can still do makeups next semester if you've got a project that you need to finish, okay? Our creative explorations classes, they have their last class of the fall semester this week. Okay, that's the end of it. If you're signed up for the next semester, we'll see you in January. We do contrast and art in the dark kind of stuff with some neon paints and some black lights for some of our stations. This will be the last time that we have the scented cloud dough out. If you're not signed up, we'll send your journal home with you this week. For our Drawing 101 classes, and I didn't bring any drawing journals this week because I brought them all last week, and I thought I'll show multimedia this week, and then that way the video isn't too long. But our Drawing 101 kids, they drew an evergreen bough still life. So you can see we've got all of our greenery up there with spotlight on it, and we are drawing from observation and what we see. This week's class, we're going to draw from our imagination. We're going to use chalk pastels on black paper, and we're going to draw holiday lights that look like they're glowing. In our 102 classes, so this is an illustrative class, and this artist is working with 2-point perspective to draw an interior room. That was last week's class. In this week's class, they are not going to have the use of a template like this. This one already has the walls set up, and it has the horizon line and the vanishing points already in. And then they're just filling the space with those rules. This time, in week 3, it's a blank sheet of paper, and they have to determine horizon line, vanishing point, where the walls go. And they're basically putting their viewer in space. As we make those decisions, if you put the horizon line higher, then you move your viewer higher. If you put the horizon line lower, you move your viewer lower. Depending on all of those decisions, you're moving the viewer around. So they will decide all of that, make their room, fill their room, and then put their original character in it. For our Drawing 102 Advanced Realistic, last week's class was also an evergreen bough still life, just like the 101. So the setup looked like this, or maybe it looked a little bit different. And then in this week's class, we're going to be drawing from our imagination. We're going to draw a stack of gifts where we take boxes. So the gifts have to be boxes, right? Because we want all straight lines for this. And it's going to all follow the rules of linear perspective as well. So we're looking for a composition that uses the rules of 1 and 2 point perspective in order to draw boxes with oil pastels. I think it's oil pastels. If it's not, it's ink. For our 103s, we've got projects coming along. I think most of our artists are going to finish, no problem. We've got 103 Illustrative who are making these, they're illustrating their version of a classic fairy tale or fable or legend, or so they're reimagining it in the style of the artists that they've been studying. We've got these delicate ink lines, and then they're finishing with a watercolor wash. For our 103 Realistic kids, they are also doing ink, but they're doing architectural interiors in a realistic style. And so we're looking for all of those rules of linear perspective, and then values and details going in. They can use a watercolor wash or an ink wash if they want, or they can stay with just the ink. Housekeeping. So in 2026, which is coming up really quick, we've got a brand new semester for you. So January through May is our spring semester. Fall semester is September through December. We're getting ready to wrap that up. We hope that you're going to be joining us in 2026. It is not a repeat. It is a brand new set of lessons and classes. So we hope that you're going to be there for that. If you are signed up, you're good to go. There's nothing you need. If you are not signed up, this week you will get your journal home. So we will send it home to you with a little note that says, thanks for a great semester. You're currently not signed up according to our records, so we want to make sure we get this to you. That doesn't mean that you can't still sign up. Registration is going to stay open for a lot longer. But we don't know when we're going to see you next, especially heading into Christmas. And so just to be safe, we're going to give you your journal, and then we can always bring it back to you. We can always bring it back. But this way, we're not here with a whole bunch of journals and trying to track down people. So we're going to send it home with you this week, everybody. Okay. If you are like, yeah, I'm planning on signing up, I just haven't done it yet, that's okay. We're going to keep the links open until pretty much till classes start, until about January 5th or 6th. If you're wanting to do the studio club, though, where you have the semester discount and all of that, then you want to do that before the end of December, because that expires December 31st, I think. Winter break class schedule. I don't have the graphics, so if you're a visual person and you would like to see the calendar graphics, go back to the previous 2 videos. But just so you know, reminder, we don't have class next week, which is the 22nd through the 26th. No classes, studios will be closed. I won't even be making a video. So don't come to class next week. The following week, on the Monday or the Tuesday, which is the 29th, hang on, I'm going to double check. Yeah, the 29th and the 30th, Monday and Tuesday night, we have our Open Studio Art PJ classes. So you actually sign up for that. Works just like Thanksgiving. Come drink hot chocolate with us, wear your pajamas, and let's make some art. And then the last little thing, there's a spot on the website for holiday gifts. Check it out. If you're needing last minute stuff, the Creation Nation art memberships are great if you're supporting your artists at home. So not just here in the studio, but making art at home and using their supplies and learning how to take care of their space and their supplies and be a responsible artist. This is a great way to do that. We do live lessons every Wednesday through that Creation Nation membership, where you actually log in on Zoom. You remember Zoom from 2020, right? It's just like that. You log in on Zoom and your instructor is there doing a lesson with you. And then all of the lessons are recorded, so you actually have access to thousands of on-demand lessons, because we've been doing this now for 5+ years. So it's been going on for a long time. Our other thing, let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh, there's apparel on the site too, but you guys don't order that and think you're going to get it by Christmas. That deadline passed. But you could still get a gift card from the Shopify site if you wanted to, or order it if maybe your Christmas is a little bit later. There's also gift cards up there, so if you're interested in Orange Easel gift cards, those are on the site. And then the other thing is the gift guide, which is just filled with links. So if you're buying art supplies anyway and you want to see what Orange Easel recommends and what we use in the studio, we linked our stuff. Okay. That's it. All right. No video next week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. I hope the audio worked on this one, because I don't really want to do this a third time. If we have to do this a third time, everybody's getting an email with just the cliff notes. All right. Have a great one.